learn initial conditions in network theory. Okay, so what is initial conditions and for what purpose we are going to learn initial conditions, objective of initial conditions, and we'll see look up a table of initial conditions, and then we'll see the procedure of solving the problem using initial conditions details, and we'll also see the we'll also work on most of the problems that we come across in initial conditions, and we'll also calculate the parameters like current, voltage and all based on this initial conditions, and then the transient behaviors. Okay, what is initial condition? The evaluation of voltages and currents and their derivatives at t equals 0 plus. Okay, so after the switch is closed at t equals 0, the circuit, how it behaves at t equals 0 plus, means after the switch is closed. So that is what we are going to work on. We are going to find out the voltage, current, and then their the response in terms of changes that we see in time. Okay, so rate of change of voltage with respect to time is what derivative of voltage, and rate of change of current with respect to time is what the derivative of the current. So we find out the derivatives of voltage and current after the switch is closed for any given circuit when the circuit has a switch which is connected to that. Okay, so that we call it as t equals 0 plus, and the current and voltages or derivatives of that, what we calculate at t equals 0 plus, is normally called as initial conditions. And if we find out the same current, voltage and derivative of those voltage and currents at t equals infinity, then we call it as final conditions. Okay, so we will see two conditions. One is a present state and the other one is steady state. Okay, so initial condition would be at t equals 0 plus, then the final state, which is also called a steady state, which we normally calculate it when the time reaches to infinity. Okay, so what would be the objective of finding out the behavior of the circuit for initial conditions? For what purpose we do it? The most important reason is that the initial and final conditions must be known, evaluate the arbitrary constants that appear in the general solution of a differential equation. So here we find out initial and final conditions most of the time in many circuits. The only reason is we need to know what would be the behavior of those circuits prior to the switch is closed. Means what would be the initial voltage of the capacitor, or for what voltage initially the capacitor might have charged, or what would be the initial current flowing through the inductor. So all these initial conditions, if we know, then we will able to judge the circuit after switch gets closed. We'll be able to justify the circuit with the proper calculation of all the parameters. So normally we do write integral and differential equation for any circuit when it has an inductor and capacitor. So when we go across with the inductor and capacitor, then we normally go with integral and differentiation. When we find out the solution in integration and differentiation, we see that we need to know the initial condition of the behavior to find out the solution. Okay, so for that purpose we go with studying the behavior of the circuit for initial conditions also. The second thing is the initial conditions give knowledge of the behavior of the circuit elements at the instant of switching. Okay, so sometimes what happens, if there is a voltage, some amount of voltage which is stored in the capacitor. Now if you don't make that capacitor voltage to 0, like for example in TV or in radios and all, if you have any electrolyte capacitor which might have charged previously, and if there is some charge in the capacitor, and by mistake if you switch on the switch, means when the switch gets closed, when you on the switch, that charge of the capacitor might give huge voltage to the circuit, and the short circuit might happen where infinite current might flow in the circuit. So such scenario or dangerous issues we see in electrical circuits. So that before switching or at the time of switching, if we know the behavior of the circuit elements by knowing the initial conditions, then we can somehow justify what to do after switching, like what should be done before switching. That is what we normally do it. Okay, So the final conditions give knowledge of the behavior of the circuit elements after the settling of circuit at t equals infinity. So the lifetime means, for example, the final time means how the capacitor behaves at the end, or how the inductor might behave at the end. So such things we'll be able to find out by knowing the final conditions of any circuit elements. That would be calculated when time reaches towards infinity. Means theoretically we say t equals infinite. Practically we don't have anything to be given as infinite value. We try to see that a maximum peak value when the time reaches, that would be the behavior of the circuit element whatever we have. So normally passive elements is what we see here, which is inductor, capacitor and resistor, what it would be connected in the circuit. Okay, now we'll look into the table how the circuit element behaves when t equals 0 plus, and then t equals 0 minus, and also t equals 0 plus. Okay, so normally the elements condition at t equals 0 minus is what? A resistor will be a resistor, inductor with a current value flowing through the inductor initially, capacitor, and there is an initial charge across the capacitor. So, or capacitor will be initially charged with a voltage V0 or something like that. So what happens when the switch is closed? If you see these components, resistor will remain as resistor, because a resistor generates energy in the form of heat, in the variation in terms of variation of time and the voltage. You see the resistance will just generate heat, or the energy generated by the resistance is just in the form of heat, so it doesn't store anything, therefore resistance remains as resistance. Whereas inductor at t equals 0 plus will behave as an open circuit. Okay, so at t equals 0 plus, the inductor current IL of 0 minus is equal to 0 here, because there is no initial current flowing through the inductor. Therefore at t equals 0 plus, current becomes 0, therefore the inductor behaves as open circuit. Okay, so whenever you are solving any problem related to this initial conditions, if they ask you to find out the condition of the elements at t equals 0 plus, you see through that you replace inductor with an open circuit. Now we do have an inductor with an initial current I naught. Okay, initial current flowing through inductor is I naught. So therefore at t equals 0 plus, this inductor will behave as a current source, because there was an initial current flowing through an inductor. Therefore the inductor will now behave as a current source of current value I naught. Similarly, we didn't had any voltage stored in the capacitor initially. Therefore the at t equals 0 plus, voltage equals 0 across the capacitor, therefore the capacitor behaves as a short circuit. Okay, at t equals 0 plus, the capacitor behaves as a short circuit. Now coming to the next condition, where there is an initial voltage stored in the capacitor. Okay, there is initial voltage for which the capacitor is been charged. Therefore when at t equals 0 plus, as there is an initial voltage charged by the capacitor, therefore the capacitor will now behave as a voltage source with a value q naught by C. Okay, V naught equals q by, we know that capacitor is equal to q by V naught, therefore V naught would be equal to q naught by C. Okay, that would be the value of voltage that we see. We replace the element capacitor to this particular element when at t equals 0 plus, when the switch is closed. Okay, so here another two parameters which we need to know is this IL of 0 minus, that is the initial current through the inductor. If there is no current, then it would be equal to the IL of 0 plus. So current through the inductor at t equals 0 minus would be the current through the inductor at t equals 0 plus. Similarly, voltage across the capacitor at t equals 0 minus would be equal to the voltage across the capacitor at t equals 0 plus. So this is very, very important to know. This thing you should remember, this two things whatever we have, and along with that this particular table. Now we have another table which I need to discuss with you. What happens at t equals infinity? We saw at t equals 0 plus how it behaves, how the circuit elements will get changed. Now we'll see at t equals infinity how it behaves. Now at t equals 0, if the resistor is actually remains as a resistor. Therefore, at t equals infinite also the resistor, the only component which doesn't change its behavior is the resistor. Okay, resistor remains as a resistor throughout at any time. Now the inductor at t equals 0 plus, if it is an inductor at t equals infinity, what happens? It behaves as a short circuit. It behaves as a short circuit. Inductor will behave as a short circuit at t equals infinity. Now if there is a current through an inductor L, then it behaves as a current source in parallel with the short circuit. Okay, in parallel with the short circuit. Now we do have a capacitor without any initial voltage charged. Therefore, if there is no initial voltage charged by the capacitor, then such capacitor at t equals infinity will behave as open circuit. Okay, such capacitor at t equals infinity will behave as an open circuit. Now if there is certain initial charge for which the capacitor might have charged, like V0 would be the voltage for which the capacitor is charged initially, then at t equals infinity, you see that the capacitor will be behaving as a voltage source along with the open circuit connection what you see. Okay, in series with the open circuit connection what we see. A voltage source will be in series with the open circuit connection. Now this is the way the element behaves at t equals infinity. So these three things what we saw just now should be known by you. One thing is the table related to t equals 0 plus, then table related to t equals 0 infinity, and then IL of 0 minus equals IL of 0 plus, and VC of 0 minus is equal to VC of 0 plus. These three parameters are very important for you to know while solving the problem related to initial and final conditions. Okay, now let us look into the procedure for evaluating initial conditions. Okay, so the first procedure is, before closing or opening the switch at t equals 0 minus, find the history of the network. Okay, so before closing or opening the switch at t equals 0 minus, find the history. It means find the initial value of any value of current or voltage initially for which the current might be through the inductor, or for which the capacitor might have charged for certain voltage. So you need to find the history of that particular network at t equals 0 minus. That means you need to find out what is I of 0 minus, what is V of 0 minus. That is current through inductor and voltage across the capacitor before switching. So that is the first step what we do always. We find out the history of the network, or we will find out the initial current and voltage that might be passing through the inductor and voltage across the capacitor. Then the second step is we will try to draw the circuit after switching operation at t equals 0 plus. So we will draw the circuit after switching operation. That is at t equals 0 plus, we see that we will try to draw a circuit when the switch is closed at t equals 0 plus. There might be a condition where they might give you that at t equals 0 plus the switch gets open. Okay, certain things also can be given in the problem. So you need to draw the circuit according to that, whatever mentioned in the question, at t equals 0 plus. Then the third step is replace inductor with open circuit or by current source having source. Okay, so as I told you how the inductor behaves at t equals 0 plus and t equals infinity, based on that knowledge you try to either replace inductor with open circuit, or you replace the inductor by its equivalent current source. Means if there is an initial current flowing through the inductor, then you replace that inductor by a current source. If there is no initial current flowing through the inductor, then you replace that inductor with open circuit. Then the fourth point is replace the capacitor with short circuit or with a voltage source Vc equals Q0 by C. So therefore, if you don't have any voltage for which the capacitor is charged, no capacitor voltage is found, then those capacitor is replaced by a short circuit. Now if there is any initial voltage for which the capacitor is charged, then such capacitor you replace it with the voltage source. Okay, then the fifth point is you find out what is I of 0 plus and V of 0 plus at t equals 0 plus. So you find out the current at 0 plus and you find out the voltage at t equals 0 plus after doing all these 4 steps. Then sixth is you find out the derivative. You obtain an expression to find out the first derivative or second derivative and all. we need to write the equation for the given circuit at t equals 0 plus. So you will have a circuit with capacitor, resistor, inductor and so on. You will write the integral differential equation for this, and then you find out the first derivative or second derivative and so on at t equals 0 plus. So obtain an expression for d square I by dt square. Second derivative is what? You would have got an expression for first derivative. You try to differentiate that again. You get the second derivative. So once you get that second derivative of expression, you will find out second derivative parameters at t equals 0 plus. So similarly, you can determine the voltage across the circuit elements and its derivatives based on 6th and 7th step. 6th and 7th step says the derivative of current. In the same way, you can write the expression for the voltages across the circuit and then find out what is the first and second derivative of that voltage by differentiating the equation for the voltage that you have obtained at t equals 0 plus. Okay, this would be the major procedures that we normally see in evaluating initial conditions. Okay, so now we'll try to look into the problems related to initial conditions. Okay, so in this problem they're asking to find out the values of I di by dt d square by I by dt square at t equals 0 plus, and they say that the switch K is closed at t equals 0 with capacitor initially it is uncharged. Okay, so the capacitor is initially uncharged. Now what we'll try to write a circuit when the switch is closed. So when the switch is closed, the circuit will have a resistance R and a capacitor C and a voltage V here. So therefore, when the switch is closed, the R would be equal to 100,000 ohms, C would be equal to 1 microfarad, and V would be equal to 100 volts. So this is the circuit what we get when the switch is closed. Now if I write the equation for this particular circuit, so we do get what? V minus R into, now let me assume the current I is what we have, R into I minus 1 over C. So here we are writing the equation. So V minus Ri minus 1 over C integration of I into dt equals 0. So therefore V would be equal to Ri plus 1 over C integration of I into dt. So this would be the equation 1, which we can keep it aside. Now we know that at t equals 0 plus, capacitor will now behave as a short circuit. Therefore if I write a separate circuit for that, then the capacitor at t equals 0 plus, the capacitor will now behave as a short circuit and resistance remains as resistance. So this would be the new circuit that we get. So this is the short circuit what we have done. Okay, so now V equals 100 volts and R equals 1000 ohms, whereas the current what we have is I of 0 plus now. So let me say what is I of 0 plus. Now if I write the equation for this, then I'll get V minus R into I of 0 plus equals 0. Therefore V is equal to R into I of 0 plus. Therefore I of 0 plus would be equal to V by R. So I of 0 plus would be equal to 100 volts by 1000. So therefore I of 0 plus is equal to 0.1 amps. So this is the current which we have got after t equals 0 plus. We see that I of 0 plus equals 0.1 amps. So how did we found that? We know that at t equals 0 plus, capacitor as it is initially uncharged, therefore the capacitor will behave as short circuit. So as the capacitor behaves as a short circuit, we are going to short that capacitor, and then we are going to write the equation for that particular circuit. So we get V minus R into I of 0 plus equals 0. Therefore V equals R into I of 0 plus. Therefore I of 0 plus equals V by R. Therefore I of 0 plus is 100 by 1000, which is I of 0 plus would be equal to 0.1 amps. Okay, now to find out the first and second derivative of the current I, we take the equation 1. expression 1 and then we differentiate it. So we differentiate the expression 1 in terms of t, therefore when you differentiate voltage in terms of t, therefore it is constant, so it becomes 0 equals R into di by dt plus differentiation of integration will cancel integration, so I'll be getting I by C, 1 by C into I. Differentiation of I dt, integration of I dt would be in terms of t. If you differentiate this integration, then integration gets cancelled, only I will be left out. Therefore at t equals 0 plus, this equation would be what? At t equals 0 plus, this equation would be 0 equals R into di of 0 plus by dt plus I of 0 plus by C. Therefore R into di of 0 plus by dt equals minus I of 0 plus by C. Therefore di of 0 plus by dt is equal to minus I of 0 plus by RC. So here I of 0 plus is already been found earlier, so therefore di of 0 plus by dt would be equal to minus I of 0 plus is 0.1 divided by R is 1000 multiplied by what is C value of the question which is given here. So C is 1 microfarad is given, therefore it is 1 into 10 power minus 6. So this would be equal to minus 0.1 divided by 10 power 3 into 10 power minus 6. So 3 minus 6 is minus 3. So I can say it is minus 0.1 into 10 power 3. Minus 0.1 into 10 power 3, where I can say di of 0 plus by dt would be equal to 100. So 10 power 3 into my 0.1 is 100. So minus 100 amps per second, because it is differentiation with respect to time. Therefore it is current is amps per second is what the formula means, the unit for the di of 0 plus by dt whatever we have. Now we got the first derivative of the current I at t equals 0 plus. Now we'll see what would be the second derivative of the current t equals 0 plus. Now this is the equation 2, for example, if we take, which we have got after differentiating expression 1. Now we differentiate expression 1 once again, expression 2 once again. Therefore what we get? So expression 2, differentiation of expression 2 in terms of t. Now expression 2, differentiate this in terms of 2, in terms of t, in terms of t. So what do we have? Expression 2, we do have 0 equals, differentiation of 0 is 0, R into di by dt. If you differentiate again with respect to t, you get d square I by dt square plus I by c. So 1 over c, differentiate I in terms of t, you get di by dt. Now at t equals 0 plus, 0 equals R into d square I of 0 plus by dt square plus 1 over c into di of 0 plus by dt. So therefore d square I of 0 plus by dt square would be equal to dt square would be R into this would be equal to minus 1 over c di of 0 plus by dt. Therefore if I take R towards this side, it becomes multiply by c. So I'll just write that. So this becomes multiply by c. Now you substitute the value of R, C and di of 0 plus by dt. So I get R is 1000 ohms, C is 1 microfarad. So C is 1 into 10 power minus 6 and di of 0 plus by dt is minus 100. So therefore this would be equal to, so this 100 and this would be 10 now, and 10 into 10 power minus 6 is 10 power minus 5. Therefore I will get minus 10 to the power of plus 5 amps per second square, because you are differentiating twice. Therefore it becomes amps per second square is the unit for this. So d square I of plus by dt square would be equal to minus 10 to the power of 5 amp per second square is the answer. Now this is what the question which was been asked, to find out the first and second derivative of the current I and also current I at t equals 0 plus for the given circuit. Okay, for the given circuit. We found the current I of 0 plus at t equals 0 plus would be equal to 0.1 amps. Then we solved it further and then we differentiated the equation 1, and then we got the first derivative of the current I of 0 plus as minus 100 amp per second, and then we differentiated the same equation once again to find out the second derivative, which we have got minus 10 to the power of 5 amp per second square. So therefore this is the problem and the solution what we have found. Let us work on problem 2 now. So in this problem they are asking to find out I of 0 plus di of 0 plus by dt, d square I of 0 plus by dt square. So these are the three parameters they are asking to find out. Therefore you should decide that it is at t equals 0 plus only. But they haven't mentioned anything like initially capacitor charged or initial current flowing through inductor and all so things in the problem. So by default you should assume there is no initial charge across the capacitor and there is no initial current flowing through the inductor. Okay, no initial condition, initial status of the components are being given, so you assume that all those components as 0. So first of all we'll assume that switch K is closed at t equals 0, and we'll try to write the diagram as shown on the screen. So we have a voltage V equals 10 volts, R equals 10 ohms, L equals 1 Henry, C equals 10 microfarad. Okay, now we will write the integral differential equation for this particular circuit. So V minus Ri minus L into di by dt minus 1 over C integration of I dt equals 0. V, so this is the KVL equation that we are writing here, plus V minus R into I minus L into di by dt minus 1 over C integration of I dt equals 0. So this is voltage across the inductor and this is voltage across the capacitor equations that we get normally. So therefore I can say V to be equal to Ri plus L into di by dt plus 1 over C integration of I dt. Now at t equals 0 plus, okay, at t equals 0 plus, like in the table that I have explained earlier, the inductor will behave as open, the capacitor will behave as short. Therefore the circuit what you get is this. So at t equals 0 plus, inductor open and capacitor short. Therefore due to this open circuit that has been created in the network, current I of 0 plus would be equal to 0 amps. Okay, due to the inductor is open, therefore the current flowing through that circuit would be equal to 0. Therefore I of 0 plus equals 0 amps. Now take this expression 1 and differentiate with respect to t, you get this. Okay, this is the second expression. Now from first expression we can find out what is first derivative of I of 0 plus, and in the second expression we can find out what is second derivative of I of 0 plus. So we take the first expression at t equals 0 plus. So at t equals 0 plus, expression 1 is, so what do we get at t equals 0 plus? V is equal to R into I of 0 plus plus L into d by dt of I of 0 plus plus 1 over C integration of I of 0 plus by into dt. Now as we know this is the voltage across capacitor, we can also write this as Vc of 0 plus. Vc of 0 plus. Therefore V is equal to R into I of 0 plus plus L into d by dt of I of 0 plus plus Vc of 0 plus. Now as initial voltage across the capacitor or initial voltage for which the capacitor is charged is not given, therefore we have assumed that the initial voltage across the capacitor is 0. Therefore Vc of 0 plus will also be equal to 0, because in the earlier discussion we saw that Vc of 0 minus is equal to Vc of 0 plus. Therefore this parameter becomes 0. Now we know that I of 0 plus is also 0, which we have found in the problem earlier. I of 0 plus is also 0 amps. Therefore this R into I of 0 plus will also become 0. Therefore V equals L into d by dt of I of 0 plus, which we get. Therefore, d by dt of I of 0 plus equals V by L. So, V is given in the question, which is 10 volts. L is given in the question, which is 1 Henry. Therefore, d by dt of I of 0 plus equals 10 by 1. Therefore, d by dt of I of 0 plus equals 10 amps per second. Now, take expression 2 at time t equals 0 plus. Take expression 2, which we differentiated already, with respect to time t equals 0 plus. So, what do we get? Expression 2, 0 equals r into di of 0 plus by dt plus L into d square I of 0 plus by dt square, L into d square I of 0 plus by dt square plus I by c, which is I of 0 plus by c. So, this we get by differentiating 1 again with respect to time. Okay, this equation what we got by differentiating expression 1 again with respect to time. Okay, now 0 equals R is given in the question. So, what is R is given in the question? 10 ohms. R is given 10 ohms and C is given as 10 microfarad. So, R is given 10 ohms, C is given as 10 microfarad. So, R is 10 ohms multiplied by 10 amps per second, which we have got. So, 10 plus L is 1 Henry, d square I of 0 plus by dt square plus I of 0 plus is 0. Therefore, this whole term becomes 0. So, plus 0. So, therefore, finally, we see that d square I of 0 plus by dt square would be equal to 10 into 10 is 100. When it goes to the left hand side, it becomes minus 100 amps per second square. So, this is the solution for the problem 2. We found I of 0 plus, we found di of 0 plus by dt, and we found the value d square I of 0 plus by dt square. Let us go to the third problem. Network shown, the switch is changed from position A to position B at time t equals 0. They are asking to find out what is the current I and the first and second derivative of I at t equals 0 plus, and assume no initial charge stored in the capacitor. Okay, so that is what it is given. So, now at time t is equal to 0 minus, switch is in position A, right? At t equals 0, the position changes to B, whereas at t equals 0 minus, the switch will be in position A. So, therefore, for that, if I write the circuit, so therefore, this is 100 volts, R 1000 ohms, and L is 1 Henry. If I write the equation for this, what will I get? V minus, so if I say this is the current I of 0 minus, R into I of 0 minus plus L into d I of 0 minus by dt equals 0. Now, there is no initial voltage across the inductor as we see. Therefore, this term what we have will become 0, right? Will become 0. So, therefore, V minus R into I of 0 minus equals 0. Therefore, R into I of 0 minus equals V. Therefore, I of 0 minus equals V by R, which is I of 0 minus equals 100 by 1000. Therefore finally you will see I of 0 minus equals 0.1 amps, and this is equal to I of 0 plus. As we see, I of 0 minus equals I of 0 plus, which we have seen earlier in the discussion. So therefore I of 0 minus equals I of 0 plus, which is equal to 0.1 amps. Okay. Now at time t equals 0 plus, switch is in position B. In position B. So therefore, if we write the circuit for that, we'll have a capacitor, resistor, and inductor. So capacitor value is given in the question is 0.1 microfarad, 1000 ohms, 1 Henry L, and this is I of 0 plus. So let me write the equation for this. So it is 1 over C integration of I of 0 plus dt plus R into I of 0 plus L into d I of 0 plus by dt equals 0. Now this is what? This is Vc of 0 plus. Now in the question it says the capacitor is initially uncharged. Therefore Vc of 0 minus equals Vc of 0 plus would be equal to 0 volts, because he says the capacitor is uncharged initially. So therefore this term what we have will become 0. So what would be the solution now? R into I of 0 plus L into di of 0 plus by dt equals 0. Therefore L into di of 0 plus by dt equals minus R I of 0 plus. Therefore di of 0 plus by dt would be equal to minus R by L into I of 0 plus. So which is equal to minus 1000 is R divided by L is 1 multiplied by I of 0 plus is 0.1. Therefore di of 0 plus by dt will be equal to minus 100 amps per second. Okay, to find out the second derivative of the current I of 0 plus, we need to differentiate this equation once again. So as we got 1 over C integration of I of 0 plus by dt, if you differentiate that once again, integration gets cancelled, so we will be left out with I of 0 plus by C plus we have R into I of 0 plus. So this is the equation written based on the KVL that we have applied for this loop. R into I of 0 plus would be written as R into di of 0 plus by dt if we differentiate again, plus L into d square I of 0 plus by dt square, which is equal to 0. Now I of 0 plus is 0.1 amps divided by C value is given in the question, which is 0.1 microfarad plus R is given in the question, which is 1000 into di of 0 plus by dt is minus 100 plus L is 1, so d square I of 0 plus by dt square, which is equal to 0. Therefore d square I of 0 plus by dt square equals, and 1000 which is minus, if it comes to the left hand side it becomes plus 10 power 5 minus this 0.1, this 0.1 gets cancelled, and 10 power minus 6 if goes to the numerator it becomes 10 power plus 6. So this becomes 10 power plus 6. So therefore if I subtract 10 power 5 with 10 power 6, I'll be getting, so 1 10 power 5 minus 10 power 6. I'll be getting minus 9 into 10 power 5. So therefore d square I of 0 plus by dt square equals minus 9 into 10 power 5 ampere per second square. So this is the solution for the problem 3 which we have taken. We found d square I of 0 plus by dt, we found di of 0 plus by dt, we found I of 0 plus, so hence the solution. Now, okay, let us look into the problem 4. So in the circuit shown in the figure, the switch was in position A for sufficient long time to have achieved steady state at t equals 0. I mean steady state. Now at t equals 0, the switch was changed from A to B. So switch is changed from A to B. Determine IL and VC, their first and second current, second derivatives at t equals 0. So I need to find out what is IL of 0 plus, then DIL of 0 plus by dt, then second derivative di square, d square IL of 0 plus by dt square. Then I should find out what is VC of 0 plus dVC of 0 plus by dt. Then I should see what is d square VC of 0 plus by dt square. So these are the parameters which we need to find out in this particular problem. Okay. Now let us go to the solution part. So initially at t equals 0 minus, the switch is in position A for a long time to get into steady state. Now once this is been found, we see the circuit would be, so that position A we have 5 volts, then we have inductor which behaves as a short circuit and capacitor which behaves as open circuit at steady state. So we see this would be the circuit. So this would be I 1 ohm and this V would be equal to 5 volts. Therefore I of 0 minus, so this would be I of 0 minus, which would be equal to V by R, so 5 by 1, which is equal to 5 amps. So therefore both the current I1 of 0 minus and I2 of 0 minus is equal to 5 amps. Therefore this would be equal to I1 of 0 plus equals I2 of 0 plus, which is equal to 5 amps. So this is what we get. At steady state, we see that the capacitor is getting opened and capacitor gets opened and this inductor gets short. So the same current flows towards entire this particular loop. Therefore I can easily say that I1 of 0 t and I2 of t, whatever I get for steady state, would be both equal. Therefore I1 of 0 plus and I2 of 0 plus would be equal to 5 amps. Now at steady state, we see the capacitor gets fully charged to 5 volts. So at this state, when the switch is in position A, capacitor gets completely charged for 5 volts. Completely charged for 5 volts. Therefore VC of 0 minus would be equal to 5 volts, which would be equal to VC of 0 plus. So this I1 of 0 plus would be equal to IL. That is what IL of 0 plus. If you see the current flowing through the inductor, it is nothing but I1 of t, which is nothing but IL of 0 plus. So we got IL of 0 plus we got, and then VC of 0 plus we got. So now our next job is what to further like look into the question. So it says in the question at time t equals 0 the switch changes from A to B. So let us go with that. So A to B when it changes, so this is the circuit what you see from A to B when it changes. So I get 10 volts 1 Henry, so I get 10 volts 1 Henry, and you will have a capacitor and a resistor. So this is 1 Henry, 10 volts, capacitor is given as 1 microfarad, and then this is 1 ohm. So now I'll try to take the current through this loop as I1 of t, and this is I2 of t. Now my job is only to know the I1 of t because that is the current through the inductor which is asked in the question. So for that we need to write the loop equation for that. So if I write, it is plus 10 volts minus L into di1 of t by dt minus, I can say this capacitor voltage across the capacitor as Vc of t equals 0. Therefore at time t is equal to 0 plus, then I would say 10 equals L into di1 of 0 plus by dt plus Vc of 0 plus. Now we know Vc of 0 plus is 5 volts, therefore 10 minus Vc of 0 plus is 5 would be equal to, L is 1 Henry, therefore would be equal to di1 of 0 plus by dt. Therefore I can say di1 of 0 plus by dt would be equal to 5 amps per second. Now this is what dIL of 0 plus only, because I1 of t and IL of t is all same. So therefore this is dIL of 0 plus by dt, which is equal to 5 amps per second. Now when I say what is Vc of t here, it would be 1 over C integration of I1 of t minus I2 of t dt, right? Because capacitor is between the current I1 and I2. So if I say voltage across the capacitor, that would be this current minus this current. So now if I differentiate this particular equation, what will I get? dVc by ft by dt. If I differentiate this with respect to time, I'll get dVc by dt, which is equal to I1 of t minus I2 of t by C. I1 of t minus I2 of t by C. So therefore dVc of 0 plus by dt would be equal to I1 of 0 plus minus I2 of 0 plus by C. So therefore we know that I1 of 0 plus and I2 of 0 plus are equal. See, I1 of 0 minus and I2 of 0 minus is 5 amps, so both are equal. Therefore this complete term becomes 0. Therefore dVc of 0 plus by dt would be equal to 0 volts per second. 0 volts per second. Okay, 0 volts per second. Now we found the first derivative of the voltage and the first derivative of the current IL. Now we need to find out what is the second derivative of these two parameters. So it is very simple to find out the second derivative. What we do is, we will try to take this particular equation. So this equation 10 minus L into di by dt minus Vc of t by, we will differentiate this once again. So what do we get? We get 10, which is differentiation with respect to time 0, minus L into d square I1 of t by dt square minus dVc of t by dt, which is equal to 0. So now at time t equals 0 plus, what happens? At time t equals 0 plus, you see 0 minus L into d square I1 of 0 plus by dt square minus dVc of 0 plus by dt equals 0. Now we know what is Vc of 0 plus by dt, which is 0, right? Therefore, this will be 0. Therefore, d square I1 of 0 plus by dt square. So this 0, this is 0. If you equate this whole term equals 0, then you get d square I1 of 0 plus by dt square is 0 amps per second square. So we got the second derivative of the current I1 of 0 plus, which is nothing but IL of 0 plus, which is equal to 0 amps per second square. Now we are left out with finding out the second derivative of the capacitor voltage Vc. For that, what we do, we take this equation and differentiate this once again. So what do we get? D square Vc of t by dt square equals 1 over c into d I1 of t by dt minus d I2 of dt by dt. Okay, so which is, again, as we know that I1 and I2 are equal, then differentiation of I1 and I2 is also equal. Therefore, d square Vc of t by dt square is also equal to, okay, what we do is we'll try to write the equation for I2. I think there we'll see what is I2 of t, differentiation of I2 of t. So in this, if we write the equation, what do we get? Vc of t minus 1 into I2 of t equals 0. So minus Vc of t minus I2 of t is equal to 0. Therefore, we get both are plus Vc of t. So I2 of t would be equal to minus Vc of t. Okay, now if I differentiate this I2 in terms of time, I will get minus dVc of t by dt. Now t equals 0 plus, we know that dVc of t by dt is equal to 0. Therefore, di2 by dt also is equal to 0. So therefore, this is 0. I am sorry, both are not equal now. This is 0. Therefore, 1 over c into di1 of t by dt. What is di1 of t by dt? 5 amps per second. Therefore, 5 amps per second. So it is into 5. So which is equal to, we know what is c. What is c in the question which is given here? So c is given as 1 microfarad. Therefore, we'll substitute that. Phi divided by 1 micro. Therefore, d square Vc of 0 plus by dt square. So this is at t equals 0 plus. So this is at t equals 0 plus. Okay. 5 into 10 power 6 voltage per second square. So this is the second derivative of the voltage Vc. So I hope we got all the parameters that is been asked in this question. So you can rewind the video and you can listen to this lecture once again so that you will understand this particular problem much better. Now in this circuit, whatever it is shown, they say that the steady state is reached when the switch K is open. Okay, the steady state is reached when the switch is opened. Then at t equals 0, the switch K is closed. Okay, when the switch is open, the steady state is reached, and when the switch is closed at t equals 0, the switch will be closed at t equals 0. So before the switch is closed, the circuit is under steady state. Now find the voltage across the capacitor. So Vc of 0 plus and 0 minus, whatever, we need to find out what is Vc. So he is asking to find out Vc at 0 plus. Okay, so therefore we need to find out what is Vc of 0 plus. Then we need to find out I1 of 0 plus, I2 of 0 plus. Then we need to find out di1 of 0 plus by dt. Then we need to find out what is di2 of 0 plus by dt. and then we need to find out what is di1 by dt at infinity, which is steady state. Okay. Okay, fine. So let us start with the solution for this particular problem. So at switch is open, the circuit is under steady state. So I'll just write the circuit when the switch is open first. So this is what we have. This is I1 and this is I2 and this is R2, R3 and R1 and V. So this is the circuit. So this is L and this is C. So this is the circuit we have written when the switch is open. Now when the switch is open, the circuit is under steady state. Therefore, what happens here is, in steady state, when you see, the inductor L will be behaved as short, whereas the capacitor will behave as open. Okay, the inductor will behave as short, whereas the capacitor behaves as open when the steady state is arrived. Therefore, the circuit will now be in this way. So inductor will be short where the capacitor will be open. So therefore this would be I1 of 0 minus, we say I of 0 minus R1 V R2 and this is R3. So therefore we can say I1 of 0 minus would be equal to total voltage V divided by, now as this is short and this is open, this both R1 and R2 will now be in series. Therefore I can say R1 plus R2. Therefore I will be getting I1 of 0 minus would be equal to, so in the question it is given V value, R1, R2 value. So V is given as 100 volts, R1 10 ohms, R2 20 ohms, R3 20 ohms, L is given as 1 Henry and C is 1 microfarad. Therefore V is 100 divided by R1 plus R2, which is 10 plus 20. So that would be I1 of 0 minus would be equal to 100 by 30, which I will get the value 100 by 30. If you look into the calculator, 100 divided by 30 would be equal to 3.3 amps. I will be getting 3.3 amps. Sorry, 33.3 amps I get. 100 divided by 30 is 3.3. Okay, fine. So I1 of 0 minus is been calculated. Now to find out I2 of 0 minus, as the current is the capacitor is open, this is I2 of 0 minus, which will be 0 amps. Okay, which will be 0 amps. Okay, so now we will try to write two equations for this, where we will now try to write, now we found I1 of 0 minus, we found I2 of 0 minus. Now we need to see what is VC of 0 minus, voltage across the capacitor, because in the question they have asked to find out voltage across the capacitor. So if I say VC of 0 minus is equal to what? So to find out that, let me tell you for what value of because at the steady state when we see the capacitor gets completely charged with some voltage value. Okay, so with what value the capacitor can get charged, that is what we need to see. As the current through R3 is 0 at steady state, the capacitor voltage would be equal to the voltage across this R2. Okay, the capacitor voltage would be equal to the voltage across R2. Okay, as I2 of 0 minus equals 0, the capacitor will get completely charged with a voltage equal to voltage across R2. Voltage across R2. Okay, so the capacitor will now get charged with voltage across R2. Therefore, voltage across R2 is what VC of 0 minus. So, voltage across R2, which would be equal to I1 of 0 minus into R2. See here, what is the current flowing through R2? The current flowing through R2 is I1 of 0 minus. Therefore, I1 of 0 minus into R2 would be the voltage across R2. Therefore, 3.3, so I1 of 0 minus into R2, first we will write that, I1 of 0 minus into R2, therefore which is equal to 3.3 multiplied by, what is R2? R2 we have 20, so therefore multiplied by 20, therefore which is equal to 3.33 multiplied by 20 will give me 66.6. So this is 3.33 actually, so 66.6 volts is what VC of 0 minus. So therefore the capacitor will behave as a voltage source after t equals 0. Okay, the inductor will now behave as, because the initial current is now there, will behave as current source of 3.33 amps, and the capacitor will behave as voltage source of value 66.6 volts after time t equals 0. Okay, so this is what we need to decide when we find out I1 of 0 minus and VC of 0 minus. Okay, we also found I2 of 0 minus, which is equal to 0 volts. Now let us write the new circuit when time t equals 0. So we will be having this V, then this resistance, then we have a resistance in series with inductance, then we have resistance in parallel in series with the capacitance. So this is R1. Now the switch is closed after time t equals 0. So this is what we get, R2, R3, and this is L and C. Now as you see, there is a short circuit across R is being created. The voltage across this would be same, so we can remove this R. So we will write a new circuit. So V, R2, L, C. Now C will now behave as the voltage source of 66.6 volts, and inductor will now behave as the current source of 3.33 amps. Okay, so this is I1, this is I2, and this is voltage. Now this is R. Okay, now what would be I1 of 0 plus? I1 of 0 plus is nothing but 3.33 amps only, because inductor is behaving as a current source, right? I1 of 0 plus is again 3.33 amps, but I2 of 0 plus is now different, which need not to be equal to I2 of 0 minus, because we have a voltage source where the capacitor is now behaving as a voltage source. Therefore current I2 through R3 would be equal to, the total voltage is V minus this 66.66 divided by R3. So therefore I2 of 0 plus would be equal to, total voltage is given in the question, which is 100 volts minus 66.6 divided by R3, which is R3. Let me see what is the value given in the question for R3. 20 ohms. R3 is given as 20 ohms divided by 20. So if you calculate this in the calculator, 100 minus 66.6 divided by 20 will get me 1.67. Therefore, I2 of 0 plus is equal to 1.67 amps. Okay, now we got the equation I2 and we got the equation I1 of 0 plus, I2 of 0 plus, then we got VC of 0 minus, which is again equal to VC of 0 plus only, which is again 66.6 volts. Okay, so if you go back and look into the parameters which we need to calculate for this problem, we have found VC of 0 plus, I1 of 0 plus, I2 of 0 plus. Now we need to find out the first derivative and second derivative of the current, and then we should see what is the infinite di by dt I1 current, the time derivative of the current I1 at t equals infinity. Okay, so let us see how to find out what is the first derivative and second derivative of the current I1 and I2. So if I write the equations for that, okay, now if I write the equations for that, so this is what I think. If I remove this R1, I can easily write this circuit as this. This is the circuit where this is I1 and this is I2. So let me write the two equations in terms of I1 and I2. Voltage V is a voltage across this branch, right? Therefore, I can say V, it is plus V minus I1 R1 R2, because the current flowing through R2 is I1, then minus L into dI1 by dt equals 0, Therefore, the total voltage V would be equal to I1 R2 plus L into dI1 by dt. Now if I say what is at t equals 0 plus, V would be equal to I1 of 0 plus into R2 plus L into dI1 of 0 plus by dt. So this would give me, we have found I1 of 0 plus, we know V, we'll find out dy1 of 0 plus by dt. Okay, so I1 of 0 plus is 3.33 into R2 and V is what? Let us see R2 and V and L. R2 is 20 ohms, L is 1 Henry, V is 100. 20, 100 and 1 Henry. So 20, 100 and 1 Henry. So this is 100, this is into 20, and this is L is 1. So I'll just write di1 of 0 plus by dt. So let me take this as equation 1. Okay, then we can find out the anyway, second derivative is not asked in this question, so we'll not bother about that. Therefore, di1 of 0 plus by dt equals 100 minus 3.33 into 20. 3.33 into 20 would be equal to 66.6. Therefore, 100 minus 66.6 would be equal to 33.4. Therefore, di1 of 0 plus by dt equals 33.4 amps per second. Now same way, if we write the next equation by looking into the same circuit, again the voltage across this R3 and C is the same voltage that we have, which is V only. Voltage across this branch is also V, voltage across this branch is also V. So I can easily write another equation where V total voltage would be equal to R3 into I2 plus 1 over C integration of I2 dt. this would be the voltage across R3, this would be the voltage across the capacitor. So therefore V equals so what I'll do is, to find out the the derivative of I2, I'll differentiate this, then only I can find out what is the derivative of I2. So differentiating the above equation, because we have already found what is I2 of 0 plus, so I'll differentiate this, differentiate the above equation with respect to t. We get 0 equals R3 into dI2 of 0, means I'll write later, dI2 by dt, plus integration will get cancelled if you differentiate, therefore I2 by C. Therefore at t equals 0 plus, at t is equal to 0 plus, 0 is equal to R3 into dI2 of 0 plus by dt plus I2 of 0 plus by C. So therefore we see what is I2 of 0 plus, which we have found already. I2 of 0 plus is 1.67. What is the value of C given in the question? Let me see. C is given as 1 microfarad. And what is R3? R3 is again 20 ohms. Okay, so let us substitute that values. So it is 20 into dI2 of 0 plus by dt plus 1.67 divided by 1 into 10 power minus 6, which is equal to 0. Therefore dI2 of 0 plus by dt equals minus 1.67 divided by 20 into 10 power minus 6. So therefore what do we get here is, in the let us calculate 1.67 divided by 20 into 10 power minus 6. So you will be getting 83500. So therefore dI2 by dt equals dI2 of 0 plus by dt equals minus 83,500 amps per second. Okay, so we have found the first derivative and second derivative of I1 and I2, means first derivative of I1 and first derivative of I2. Now if you want to find the second derivative of I1 and I2, what you can do is, you can differentiate this equation once again. So you get d square I2 by dt and dI2 by dt, where dI2 by dt you can substitute. Similarly, if you differentiate the above first equation which we have written, if you differentiate this equation again, you will see that you will get the second derivative of I1. Anyway, in the question they have asked to find out what is the first derivative. Okay, they have asked to find out what is first derivative only. The only thing, now we have found what is dI1 of 0 plus by dt and dI2 of 0 plus by dt. The only thing which we need to find out is dI1 by dt of infinity. Now to find out dI1 of infinity, dI1 of infinity by dt, for the same circuit what he is asking here, after t equals 0 plus, now here what happens, the inductor will behave as short and capacitor will behave as open when you take an infinite time. Therefore this becomes short and this becomes open. Therefore the current I1 for an infinite time would be equal to total voltage V divided by R2. Okay, so therefore dI1 of infinity by dt will now be equal to 100 by 20. So therefore dI1 of infinity by dt will be equal to 5 amps per second. The reason here, the inductor will behave as short at infinite time, whereas the capacitor will behave as open at the infinite time, and at t equals 0 we saw that the switch is closed. Therefore this R1 will nowhere come into picture now. Therefore the current through this loop would be the infinite current that flows through this particular loop. Therefore V divided by R2 is what the total current at infinite time whatever we see, which is 5 ampere per second. So I hope this problem is clear to you. We have solved all the parameters which has been asked in this problem.